It's Friday, July 11th, and this is today's cuss word. Welcome to today's cuss word. I'm Michele Kus, your spiritual growth coach, coming at you with another Friday episode. I have my fourth and final conversation with Charity Williams today on kingdom creativity, and you don't want to miss it.
I think one of my other mantras is do it afraid. Just do it. Just do it afraid. If it's terrifying you, just say yes and move forward anyway, because God has a purpose in it. And I think when we can do it anyway, it's impact like that. Like not everybody's going to be willing to be that vulnerable and put their garbage out there. And not like I was, putting my garbage out there, but you know what I mean? And, it's in those places of vulnerability as creatives that we create space for someone else to go, I'm not alone. I'm seen. I'm heard. I'm safe. And because of that, because you're vulnerable, you're willing to create that space for me, I can breathe and I can go, I'm not alone. I'm not weird. I'm not messed up. I'm not too far gone. God is here and he's encountering my heart, and I'm healed and I'm well. And I get to move from this place because I'm seen, I'm seen, and he sees me and he loves me. And, it's just, it gives me goosebumps. He's so good. He's so good. So yeah, there's been tons of testimonies of people, receiving things like that. One time, one of my friends was super frustrated with a painting. She's like, I'm not a painter, but she was doing it anyway. So she was doing it afraid. Going back to that, you don't have to be good to just do something. And she's like, I don't know what I'm making. I don't know what this is. And she always tells me, and I truly, I don't remember the moment of saying this to her. But she's like, you looked me in the eyes and you said, does it have to be a something? And she's like, I felt everything break off of me in that moment. She's like, I all of a sudden was like, does it have to be a something? It doesn't have to be a something. I can just play. I can just create. It doesn't have to be anything. It just has to be me and Jesus. And that's enough. And she's like, she reminds me of that testimony all the time. She's like, you don't know how much I use that. She's like, does it have to be a something? It doesn't have to be a something. Mm-hmm. It gets to just be an is. And an is enough to just be. And so I think that's like applicable to, all of our lives. It's like, do we have to make a something? Do we have to produce a something? No, we just get to be. We just get to create and be in his presence, and it's enough. And if it doesn't look like anything, that's okay. If it doesn't sound good, that's okay. Like the fact that we're partnering with him and we're creating with him is enough to bring that breakthrough and to bring healing. And I think it kept me from creating a lot. It's like, well, if I'm going to paint a painting, then it has to be a masterpiece, has to be, sell worthy and good enough. And, somebody would want us to buy it. It needs to be good. It needs to be perfect. And I got to that point where I'm like, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It just has to be a moment with Jesus. And that's enough.
I love that. Oh, there's so much good stuff in what you said. Yeah. There's so much freedom in that. I don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a thing. And it might not even be a thing to you, but it might be a thing to someone else who it's meant for,
Exactly. Yep.
So I just had an experience like that with a song. I was writing this song and I don't know, I was just having fun with it. And my friend had just written a book and I threw her book title into the lyrics.
Oh, wow.
And I was just having fun with it and kind of capturing the essence of this book. And so I sent the song to her yesterday, actually.
Oh, wow.
The MP3 to her, and she couldn't even get through 2 lines without crying. She kept texting me like, you have no idea how much this means to me, and how it brought up just kind of some like she was missing a friend who had passed away who used to like play music over her, and this was like Nobody had ever done that since she passed away, and someone just randomly sent her a song.
Come
And
on.
so it's like you just don't know how God is going to work through your creativity.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he'll surprise you.
Yeah.
I was
And
just
I
playing
bet you
around.
felt nervous to send it to her and like a little like, is this silly? Is this like,
Yeah,
is this, you know? But you did it. And like, look what happened. Like when we just do it brave, we just do it. You know,
mhm,
I'm like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's amazing. Ah,
It
that's
just
so good.
really ministered to her, and so yeah, we just don't know how our stuff is gonna impact people. Um,
Oh, I love
and
that.
yeah, it's
That's
a
so good.
partnering with heaven. Charity, what advice would you give someone who feels maybe called to write or paint or dance or create or make a business or write a book, any of those creative endeavors, but maybe they're feeling stuck, maybe they feel discouraged, maybe they're not sure how to partner with heaven? What advice would you give them? Charity Williams.
I think honestly, I think about why are we stuck? What are we stuck on? A lot of times it's fear. It's fear of the unknown. It's fear of what if it fails? What if it, doesn't look right? What if? It's that fear. I think that likes to hold us back, that gets us stuck. We just get stuck in that cycle of analysis, for those that are analyzers, and they just think and they overthink and they think again, and they get paralyzed with thinking, and so it's fear. I think it's fear based. And I think the only way to break out of that fear is to do it afraid. Just jump,
That's good. Yeah.
just jump, just do it. Like my husband, for example, he has had in his heart this podcast. He has a podcast now, which he launched it this year. I'm so proud of him. But he got the idea about 7 years ago, the Everyday Dad, and it's a podcast geared towards dads and encouraging dads. And so often dads are kind of like, you're loser dads, or like dads are kind of have this stereotypical loser mindset that the world kind of puts on. All the TV shows, the dads are usually losers, and or they're
Mhm.
drunks, or they're, it's just like this, and he's like, no, like I want to have stories of like real stories of how dad's dad and what it looks like to be a dad and be a present dad and an engaged dad, and how does it feel, and how does it feel when you mess up and you yell at your kid and then you go apologize and you humble yourself. Like, what does that look like I want to talk to the dads. And so he's had this in his heart for about, like I said, 7 years. And
Mm.
he is one of those guys that gets paralyzed by overthinking. He just overthinks and overthinks and overthinks and worries and overthinks. But
I don't know what that's like.
yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, I'm the crazy one that just jumps in the deep end, and then he always has to save me. So he's like, what are you doing now? And I'm like, it'll be fine. So we're like polar opposites in that way. And I'm learning
I
to
love
tame
that.
myself and not just jump at every opportunity. So we're balancing ourselves out. But he launched it, and he did it, but like he did it afraid. He's just like, I'm doing it, and he just did. And so and then working out that thing. So but I think it's just so important to just go, I say, look fear in the face and do it anyway. You look fear in the face and you take that step. You push play, you push post, whatever it is, you put that paper, that pencil to paper, you begin that business, you launch it, and you do it not from a place of fear, but like almost in spite of fear. Like, fear, you don't have a place in my life, so I'm gonna say yes just to like tick you off. And it's like you don't get to hold me back. Like, God didn't give us a spirit of fear, so if I'm feeling fear, then that's the wrong spirit, And I'm going to kick fear in the face, and I'm going to go anyway. And I'm going to go, I'm powerful, I'm loved, and I have a sound mind. And so I'm going to look fear in the face, and I'm going to go, I'm so powerful because I'm empowered by God. I'm so deeply loved. Like, I can't fail because God doesn't fail. So we're moving forward. And I have a sound mind. So when those lies come and they like to, oh, what are you doing? Who are you? You're an imposter. Everybody's going to know that you're not really who you say you are, one day, I have a sound mind. So I'll have to listen to those things. And so fear, take the back door, you're done. I'm moving forward. And I think that that's like the biggest part of it, is just shaking off that fear and going, you don't get to hold me. You don't get to tell me what my future is. God does. And from that place, sinking in, from that place of identity, I get to lean in. I get to look at him, and I get to listen and move forward, and I get to do the things. And as I was reading in Joshua. Oh, I love it so much. I was reading in Joshua, and in Joshua, I don't know what chapter, I don't know what verse, but like the theme of it is God saying, telling Joshua, like, go into the promised land. And he goes, with your yes, I will defeat the enemies before you. And so it was like Joshua's yes activated that defeat of the enemies, and the enemies were defeated. And if you look it up, the enemies, the names of the tribes were like greed and anxiety and worry and like all of these things that we deal with in our natural lives. And it was like with Joshua's yes and him moving forward, God went before him and destroyed all of these enemies and made the way for them to enter their promised land. And so sometimes we just have to move. We just have to say yes, and we move. And like all of a sudden there's a way, the way is made, and God clears the path. And we're like, oh, I thought this was going to be so hard, and you're just like, I'm moving forward. Like I'm finally living my dream, because I just got fed up enough with fear. And I just said, I'm doing it anyway, so do it anyway. Just do it.
I love that.
Yeah.
We're going to make that today's cuss word. Do it afraid.
Yeah.
So that's today's cuss word, y'all. Do it afraid. And there you have it, my friend. Do it afraid. If the enemy has been telling you lies about who you're not, you just remind him of who he's not. And then you get out there and release your art, release your song, release your idea, release your book, release your business, release your creation, the one only you can do, because someone somewhere out there is waiting for you to release it. And that is what I got for you today, my friend. I hope you loved this fourth and final part in our Kingdom Creativity series. And if you did, make sure you share it with a friend. And make sure you connect with Charity and everything she's doing. Of course, I have dropped all the links to her website and her socials down in the show notes, so check those out. And I've also dropped a link in the show notes to Charity's husband, Tyler's podcast called the Everyday Dad Podcast. She mentioned that podcast on today's episode, so make sure you check that out and share that with all the awesome dads in your life. So next week, I will be launching into something super cool, something brand new, something I've never done before on this show, but something that is near and dear to my heart and was actually inspired by this whole conversation on Kingdom Creativity that Charity and I had. So make sure you're following this podcast on your favorite platform so you don't miss the cool stuff coming up. Thanks so much for joining me today, and until next time, have an awesome day.